I got cut off in my last video recording there, so I'll try to finish this up. I saw that it was well over 7 minutes. I've been babbling on for a little bit. Anyway, so back to the neoliberalist speeches part 2. When we were talking about resources, when they're in constant need, and more importantly, the rights of the people get squashed. If there's a necessary expansion and there's something in the way, the federal government is allowed to push whatever it is that's in the way out of the way. This is how many of our citizens lose land that has been in their family for generations. There are millions of instances that happen across the United States with forming interstates that lead to strip malls and blah blah blah. The people this happens to are forced to move somewhere else and start over. Not only can this lead to anger and frustration, but can also demand the family to live somewhere that is completely different from where they're used to. And it can force them to live into the infrastructure that forced them out in the first place, kind of creating a Stockholm syndrome. This type of emotion can cause huge amounts of stress and sadness, and has led to those in this situation to have occurring mental disorders, especially in the elderly. There's been publications about mental health and on this subject. Another effect of this overpopulation and growth on the people is that it hasn't necessarily lost houses or land, but have grown up and lived in constant progress around them. Many of the middle people that I referred to earlier live in a state where they cannot control their surroundings. Living in an expanding world can be harmful, as seeing the constant growth can give back a lack of security. As well, being surrounded by so many people and by so much business can make it seem as if the options are unlimited, but in reality the options are nil. Your choice of working inside the system becomes guaranteed and inhibits mental growth. Thinking for yourself becomes much harder to do in this situation, and unfortunately for those in this situation, a typical solution is to become a pariah, whether planned or not, by using a self-sabotage technique seen heavily in the younger generation living in extreme affluenza. In addition, the expansion and lifestyle become more and more a norm for each generation, and with that, the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation, as said by Thoreau. In other words, not much is said about these debacles. People tend to turn the other cheek instead of fight, mainly due to the lack of education of rights, as well as the fear of being chastised by the community and possibly the government. As this may not pose an immediate concern, the more the idea pushes on, the more consistent it becomes, and unfortunately for us, consistency is what neoliberalism strives off of. There's no way to avoid such an upward spiral. At least that's what many people believe. There's no end, no panacea. There are a lot of good things that come from neoliberalism, medicine and business and money for our country. However, I feel that the downsides of it outweigh the good sides of it. I don't think that we should end everything altogether. However, I do think that we could slow the progress down. I believe having the speed that we were having in this country is extremely detrimental, and I believe that we need to slow it down a bit. I can't really say too much about it. There's lots of problems that occur, more problems that occur than from the good. All in all, the neoliberalist agenda is huge. It's a monstrosity, I believe, in this society, and it's becoming globalized. So I feel that it needs to be slowed down and brought to a halt. Thank you.